It's recording now.
We're casting this over the internet, and this is just a text editor presentation that I will give you real quick rundown of what he just said. What is really important to understand that HTTP, what we're doing when browsing the web, is a protocol, and it's a pipe that we're using to send data back and forth. You're already using the pipe when you're browsing the web. Usually you're just doing GET request. There are different many keywords that identify the operation that is being exchanged over the said pipe. What you're doing right now with Rohit when you're typing in personal data, you're doing a post request, as I imagine, and I think you understand roughly the difference. But it's mostly convention that, as Rohit was pointing out in the previous example, is a convention which explains what do you expect to happen. Then there are many different complicated ones like trace, options, connect, patch. I never used them. Did you ever use them?
Maybe patch sometimes, options if I really have to. But yeah, otherwise not really. Yeah.
I mean, well, I only ever used.
And he's taking this.
I think. So that's that. Why is REST important? Because whenever you're thinking about any typical web application, you have collections of things. As Rohit was showing in that API JSON example, we're dealing with modifying connections, modifying collections, inserting, updating, removing. So it's better that everybody agrees what is the convention to do so. Have you introduced the term of dry?
A little bit. Dry in programming. Don't repeat yourself.
Yeah. And CRUD? Mm-hmm. CRUD as well. So basically, whenever you're approached to do anything by your customers, 90% of the time it'll be a CRUD application. So create, read, update, delete. So it's basically a representation of something underneath in which you create, read, update, or delete. I would like you to tell me, what do you think this might be? This website. Have you seen this before?
Anyone has used Postman before? Yeah.
Okay. Can I have you guys please install something on your computers which will help us create, post, and get requests? The software is called Postman. Those of you who use Chrome can get it through the Chrome extension store, or you can just navigate to the web page of the tool. I'll try doing it right now. Postman. Yes, Postman.
Is Postman only for Chrome?
No, it's based on Chrome. You can have it inside Chrome, or you can just have it as an application. Here, please download it now.
Postman?
Yes.
What's the URL there?
I have no clue. Getpostman.com.
Okay.
I'll blow it up for you. Yeah. I'm sorry? Is this it? Is it launched? Great. This is what it is. Who has it? Please raise your hands.
I think mine is Steve.
Okay.
What's the name?
Yeah. You post the last. No, just Postman. Just Postman. Get Postman is the web page, and Postman is the name of the tool.
But you open it and show how it looks like. So everyone's sure.
No, just literally Postman. How do I go add-ons?
You go to a new tab. Apps.
We're not getting the.
It's here. It's the
I'm sending you my Gmail.
this is the first thing here on the list. If you're not using Chrome, then you can just go to www.getpostman.com. Who's with me now? You with me? Great. This side of the table, lagging behind. Yes, great.
Yeah. Who doesn't have it yet?
I'm just sending you.
Okay, signing in. Yeah, that's fine. Ismail?
You can skip.
You have it? Okay, that's fine.
Sign in. There's a blue link that you can skip signing in. Now, I would like to show you the basic ropes of this tool. It's still loading for me.
Oh, so it should be Postman to set up for this.
Here I have my Postman. Okay. The bar on top is representing the REST operation that you are to do upon this URL. And then you're sending it, and the bottom half of the screen is the response that's happening. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm imitating a GET request to google.com. So in fact, you're used to thinking of google.com as a web page, but practically speaking, it's just a server that is responding in a particular convention, and this convention is rendered by your browser. What is being rendered by your browser is actually all this code, which is here in the bottom half of the page.
What is that convention which we are following for rendering the browser? Rendering in the browser. Yeah. Is there a standard which is involved which defines the web page and like how it is supposed to be displayed to the user?
I don't know, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's HTML 1.1 usually, for example.
I didn't know that. What I would like all of you to do now is open your Postman and do a post request to this address, which I'm highlighting in yellow right now. Copy this address in the bar. I can show you how it should look like once you've done that.
Yes, 1AW Q37A1.
I have to make it bigger. Yeah.
Can anyone tell me why we're using Postman and not just the browser, since the browser does all the same things anyway? Why are we using Postman and not just the browser? Because you could do... Yeah. Basically, because in the browser URL bar, you can only make a GET request, right? You can also, of course, use JavaScript in the console to make a POST request and all that, but that would not be as convenient as we'll see very shortly.
Yeah. Just okay. That's okay.
Okay, you're going a bit too fast then. What I need now to show you is the history of the people who already made it. The history of people who already made a post. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 items, which indicate that 4 of you have already managed to connect to a debugging page. What this page does, it's a free tool for looking into post requests. It's open to the public. Anybody can generate a temporary space and debug applications, debug what's being sent out. What you guys just did is you sent me empty post requests from Denmark. A tiny bit about your application.
You can actually look at the user agent of some of the other requests.
Yeah.
That is more fun.
User agent, Postman and runtime. Yeah. Yes. And does it ring a bell yet where we're going towards with this tooling in regards to Heat's session today about username, phone number, and login? Does anybody can make this mental jump yet? Explain to us where we're going here.
You can count how many users visit your page, maybe?
Roughly, not exactly there.
We could do a post visit request with those amiras.
For example.
I'm sending those.
Yes, that's one way of thinking about it, and that's correct. What I would like you now to do is send me not just an empty message, but here, once we switch to a post request, let's pretend that we have, raw and then JSON. So let's pretend between us we have a convention about how a user looks like. What I now have set up Postman to do, Postman is prepared to make a post request to our playground. Inside the body section, this is what you're carrying with the message. So one thing is you're just sending a message, and then you can attach actual content to it. And this content is called the body. This is what is being moved through the pipe. This is what sometimes referred to as a payload. So go to the body section and pick raw. So this means that we are deciding what is to be sent. And then this is tricky. From the drop down, pick the format of our convention to be JSON. How will I do
that? Yeah, I can't personally.
You need to select post first. Select post because get requests, they can have bodies by the spec, but it's a different story. Yeah. Select.
I think you scrolled down to the bottom of the email. The bottom half has two halves.
Yep.
You scroll out on the outer container.
Yeah, you found it. Yeah.
Okay, and now let's. Yes, we'll be writing some JSON. Let's agree that we do a name, and everybody puts in their names. Okay. Important is that we all agree that the key is called name, lowercase, nothing like that. And you're not Anthony. You're your own respective names. Yes, I'm sorry. Also, he could do a better job of zooming in. You know what? This can be zoomed in. Here. Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
It's squished, but we can live with that. It's still a miracle this whole setup works.
I wonder what will happen in the recording. But
so anybody can tell me what we are expecting to see once every one of us presses send on this page. Okay, but to be more precise, the name of the sender is something we came up with. This is not part of the convention. We just decided that this is the payload that we're sending. So now if you please start sending me or sending each other the message. And we have Mohammed in, and nobody else is there yet. Boiled salad, nice name. Ismail, Abu, and so on. So what just happened? Some of you didn't make it, I must say. Boiled salad is the last person. Okay.
I think a few new arrived just now.
Yeah, empty. Okay, let's study the ones who actually made it. This tool has a oh shit, you don't see everything. Yeah. Maybe. And then I zoom in on my side. Here, okay? So this is one transaction that happened between one of the computers here and the playground we're at. Again, this was a post request, as indicated here. It has a particular type, which you picked from the drop-down. It has a particular size, because this is text we've been sending over a pipe over the internet. And it arrives from an IP address. The raw body could take any form that we agree upon. This is just a convention that plays a bit with what he has taught you before about.
So it doesn't matter if we choose someone up here because
Yes. However, if we switched up to a proper application and you offered me a JSON-looking text without saying it's a JSON, I wouldn't accept it. So let me refresh and see if some other people made it. Yes. Who?
how many do you have?
1, 2,
Do a refresh maybe.
3, 4, 5. Only 5 people have sent their Ismail. This is 1. Yes. So I think who didn't see it?
But it looks good, and then they also got the okay acknowledgement.
Okay. Can you whoever didn't make it through, can you double check? Yes. That you have these settings the same way. Raw, JSON application, and double check. You have a mistake here. This is not an L, this is a 1. And it's a small a and not a capital A. Some of you sent the message elsewhere. Yes? Yes, I will.
Taylor cannot get on.
There's an empty message that just happened 12 seconds ago.
Actually, we need to put header application JSON. This
Request.
So that body is just
Let me open up the URL for us. 1. Wait, it's a 1. It's not an L. I'm sorry, I'm not used to touch.
yeah, this has you also have click on this.
HPS.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, now you need the call.
Yeah. But even as if should have been fine. Okay, this is fine.
Okay, and let me see if you made it. Oh shit. Just a second, I messed up my casting. Yes. Let me read. Yes, we have Ahmad and Asma.
Good.
Great.
Anybody can help
Over there.
over there? Check your address. This is the address that should be
in
in yellow.
is request b.in /7a1.
Yeah. That looks fine. And then he's also getting the okay back.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
HTTPS.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have a colon after HTTPS?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can just
Yes.
move it. Like what you're doing is fine. Maybe there's
It's not you, it's me.
Can I put this person back?
yeah.
So now, guys, you can see each other's request by going to the special URL in your browser.
So just copy this URL.
Is this big enough?
So we'll go to our browser and
Yes.
apply this.
Yes.
Yes. So the same URL that you have before, just copy that and add question mark inspect in front of it. Yeah. Enter.
Okay.
Sorry? Just okay? That's not okay.
No, you go ahead.
Because just when we just come back to the name.
Yes, sorry. Whoever has
the URL should be like that. No, inspect, question mark inspect. Yeah. Yeah, inspect.
Just like
and now inspect.
Yeah, click on that. And just question mark inspect.
So we got
Yeah,
it from here.
because
It's fine. Anybody can guess what's the question mark for, and how does the actual application understand this question mark? Any guesses? Have you seen this anywhere? What's this about?
is it give me the request?
It's also a convention between us and the author of the application. It's a URL parameter that we added to the website. So now we can just browse around, see everybody else's requests. And this,
you remember that when we searched on Google, you got question mark Q equal to.
Yes.
So that was like Q parameter had a value, and now it will just get that inspect is true. The inspect key exists in the search parameter. That's how the requesting service knows what to render.
what's your intention?
Yeah.
Can anybody explain to me what just did in their own words, in terms of somebody who's not much talkative? What just happened? What just happened? What did we do in the last 20 minutes?
Last time we
Yes.
created this Postman,
Mm-hmm.
and then we log in by our plugin.
Yeah.
And then we create HTTP and body and JSON request.
Mm-hmm.
And then we read each request between
Mhm.
us. And then now we come to the browser and we add the same link that we add
Yeah.
spec, and we can read each
Mhm.
like chatting.
Yes,
like
yes.
browser.
Very well. What is the name of this JSON example thing that you've been using?
JSON placeholder.
I am referring to this again because now when we're thinking about this example, knowing what we just saw in Postman, I think we're coming from two sides to understanding how do these things end up in an application. So once you get there, in your browsers or in your software, when the user will be doing some action, underneath it all of the communication most likely will be just posts and get requests, which look like objects, most likely written in JSON, and they form a collection like the one he was showing before. To dig deeper into how these databases will look like, I would like you to navigate to this URL.
So we should make a new request.
in your browser. But it's true. I know what you're asking, but what you're doing is still a request. What I think is now, by your question exactly, you just asked me if we're doing a request in Postman. Technically speaking, we're still doing requests in the browser. Yes. Most all of our interactions with any application every day result in a get and post relationship somewhere behind the scenes. No matter if you're using Facebook, Tinder, any app on your phone, somewhere behind that is a collection of items, and your action is translated to find me a person, update this entry, and so on and so forth. At the same time, if you look at this as if you are a browser, it's almost the same action. The browser is doing the same things. So it's inter-exchangeable whether you're looking at the data or you're doing an exchange. So that was a very good question. What this is another example, but a bit more interactive, about how you would make a collection of a pet store. A store which has pets. So pets exist in the database. They can be fetched by a particular number. You can remove it once you sell a pet, and so on and so forth. I would like you to take a few minutes to open any of these actions, study the body. Let's start with just posting a pet. Whoever the author of this documentation explains to us that this action adds a new pet to the store. This is the level of documentation we most of the time are working with. In this example gray box, we can read into the idea that the authors had what pets are about. So just by reading this tiny bit of code, you can make a mental model of what the application is about, because you see a key called tags, and you already know that this might refer to a label to an animal in a pet store. You see a status. Just looking at one object in such a collection should give you a picture of how to write, and also what is the relationship with other elements in the system. What was the author thinking about when he modeled this particular person? This goes back to your conversation earlier about phone numbers. Why is phone number 8 or 10? Is it a string? Is it a number? Looking at this one example, we could consider that you could store the phone number as two fields, country code and phone number. You could store it as country code, as a string, then a phone number, and so on and so forth. We're slowly moving towards thinking about objects, how to exchange them, and how to think about describing a collection. What this interface lets us do is try it out. So inside of this web page, we have a way of adding our own doggy. I will call this doggy Rohit, and I will try sending the message to this backend. So, what? Did I get it?
You got the XML response. This is the XML API, I think.
Here. Yes. I will explain it in just a second.
So now you're getting the
Yes. What just happened? What just happened is that we decided to talk to the application, decided to add a new pet. We inspected the model and made our own new pet. Right? The only thing I changed is I changed the name here, and then I sent the message
and I got
a 200 okay.
Did you
explain codes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what before the lunch break, Yohit was saying that instead of saying okay, created animal was created,
what this API
is doing, and this is the correct form, it tells us back what we told it.
So this is the response
that the pet store is giving us,
which
confirms that in fact it managed to create. I would now try to break
the
pet store
by sending
it
unnamed
pet. I'm
I'm
just guessing.
Before you move on, if you go a little more down, there's another response.
This is the documentation of what responses are.
You can expect if the code is for why it might be.
This is a high level of documentation that you usually don't see. Then we're sending this, and I'm hope. You can create a nameless pet.
We
We didn't break it. What's the model like? Okay, how about we, what do you say, Rick? What do we remove? How about?
You can just change one of those strings to one number.
Just send an empty.
Okay, let's send an empty pet. This is a wild idea when you think about it. See, whoever wrote this didn't go for the class editor. He just did what you did.
There's no
validation
for
the data being sent.
So just like
you were validating phone numbers and names Jeremy and Jeffrey, today this application does not do that.
What
just happened behind the scenes
is we
bothered
the
application to create an animal which has
no data
about it.
And what is this long number?
This ID is
most likely
ID which is created on the system.
the sequential number that the software itself responded with to us adding a new entry.
You can make a get request now, for example, with this ID, and then you get exactly the same pet that you can say. This is a mock API, so I'm not sure if it would indeed do that, but that's the whole concept.
I would like you to take a few seconds, having seen what we just did.
Please
remember to
change this response whenever you're doing
to JSON so that you can read it. And I would like you to just browse around
all of these
conventions
here. Just to read
what the author has to say about all of them, and just send a few and see how they behave. Great.
500.
What did you do?
Okay, so you just discovered.
Instead of only using a number to resource history.
Or minus.
Explain that again. What the error was?
Yeah. That's why you didn't get any.
Yes. Sometimes you can get a much better response. That's probably the most standard error category which you'll be seeing now.
I'm leaving the tough questions to Rohit. I just had my fun, and he'll do the grunt work.
Word salad. You'll be going into collections now.